Good evening to everyone. My name is Dwight Pollard. I'm the president of Epsilon Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, St. Louis. The purpose of this occasion is to celebrate and honor the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which was founded on December 4th, 1906 at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, by 7 men who were referred to as the 7 Jewels. The chartering of Epsilon Lambda chapter on December 3rd, 1919, in St. Louis by 11 men referred to as the forward-looking businessmen of St. Louis, and active brothers of Epsilon Lambda chapter for paving the way through leadership and service in turbulent times. At this time, Brother Mike Ferrari, who is currently the Vice President of Epsilon Lambda chapter and a member of this great fraternity for over 44 years, will present you with the welcome for the evening.
Good evening. On behalf of the entire membership of the Epsilon Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, I want to personally welcome each and every one present to our 101st Founders Day celebration. For 101 years, the Epsilon Lambda chapter has worked hard to maintain and foster the aims of our national fraternity, which are manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind, while at the same time promoting and upholding the mission of our dear fraternity, which is the mission of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy for our community. As we work to further in the promotion of our vision with the key objectives to stimulate the ambition of our members, to prepare them for the greatest usefulness in the cause of humanity, freedom and dignity for every individual, and to encourage the highest and noblest form of manhood and to aid the downtrodden humanity in its efforts to achieve higher social, economic, and intellectual status. It is these and many additional attributes that this chapter, through the leadership and vision of the initial 11 young men who founded our dear chapter on this date, December 3rd, 1919. Since our founding, there have been an estimated over 200 plus members initiated into this chapter, as well as 65 men of Alpha installed as president for one or more terms to provide leadership and support to our membership. I would like to recognize as many of our past presidents, chapter presidents, starting with our recent installed chapter president, Brother Dwight Pollard, and our immediate past president, Brother Michael Blanford. I would also like, as many of our past presidents of the Epsilon Lambda chapter, to acknowledge yourselves at this time by raising your hand and using the hand icon if possible, as well as entering your names on the chat box. It goes without saying that I will be remiss without recognizing our very special guest and keynote speaker for the evening, our 35th General President of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Honorable Brother Dr. Everett B. Ward of Augustine University in Raleigh, North Carolina. In addition to Brother Ward, I would also like to welcome our current Midwestern Regional Vice President, Brother Ronald Stovall, along with our incoming General President-elect, the Honorable Dr. Willis, Lonzer. As I come to an end of my welcome, I would also like to give a personal acknowledgement to our current Missouri District Director, Brother Quentin Williams, as well as his staff, as well as any and all representatives for any and all of the Divine Nine organizations. As I call your organization's name, please raise your hand and enter your name and organization in the chat box as well, so that we can recognize you at a later time with a thank you. The ladies of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. The ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. The ladies of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. The ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. The men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. The men of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And the men of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. Again, if there are any guests, please acknowledge yourselves in our chat box and we thank you. Lastly, if there are any additional local community members also present, please also acknowledge yourself by putting your name in the chat box as well. We thank you very much for your attendance this evening. And at this time, I would like to welcome Brother Jerome Carroll, our chapter chaplain, for our invocation and prayer. Thank you.
Good evening, brothers, distinguished guests, family and friends, and all in attendance. As a Spring 20 initiate of this illustrious chapter, illustrious fraternity and distinguished chapter, it is my honor to deliver this evening's invocation. And I would ask at this time if you would bow your heads with me in prayer. Eternal God, our Father, it is with sincere hearts that we pause this evening and take time out to honor you and to reverence you for your goodness and your faithfulness, even in spite of our circumstances. With humble disposition, we declare with the prophet Jeremiah that it is because of your mercies that we're not consumed. Your compassions fail not, they are new every morning, and great is your faithfulness. As Alpha men, we are thankful that the vision of our 7 jewels, those 7 selfless men, still guide our fraternity. As a chapter, we are blessed that the principles of our founders, those 11 tireless men, still permeate throughout our brotherhood. As we look back over a remarkable year of service, we acknowledge that none of the work that we accomplished could have been possible without your enablement, as well as the partners who served alongside us. The many food drives, the voter registration initiatives, which positively impacted this year's election, the mentoring of young Black men, and countless hours of community service, which upheld our motto, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all, are all to your glory. We honor our General President, Dr. Everett B. Ward, and thank you for his unwavering leadership and tenacity. We embrace our General President in waiting, Dr. Willis Lonzer III, and look with anticipation to the future. Now, Lord, we ask that as we embark upon tonight's program and festivities, that you will bless our time of fellowship together. And we pray that something will be said that will ever remind us to hold high the light of Alpha. We pray these things in the matchless name of your beloved Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Brother Carroll. At this time, it's my honor to introduce the Master of Ceremonies for this evening. And he is no other than Brother Brian M. Gant. Brother Gant, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, graduated from Jennings Senior High School in 1999. Upon graduating, he continued his academic and athletic career at Maryville University, where he majored in information systems while playing collegiate basketball. After earning his Bachelor of Science degree from Maryville University, Brother Gant was initiated into the Epsilon Lambda chapter on April 3rd, 2004. At the same time, Brother Gant was beginning his professional career in law enforcement while serving as a member of the Federal Bureau of Investigation as an intelligence analyst and continued service in that role for 5 years. In 2009, he joined the ranks of the U.S. Secret Service and as a special agent working on domestic and international assignments to include protection for former President Barack Obama, as well as Bill Clinton. Currently, Brother Gant is the assistant professor of cybersecurity at his alma mater. Brother Gant has a son, Tyler, who is 16 years of age, and a 9-year-old daughter, Dawson, who also reside with him here in St. Louis. Since joining the Epsilon Lambda chapter, Brother Gant has received the Young Leaders Award, served as a co-chairman of the annual Black to School book drive, as well as the Epsilon Lambda chapter picnic, for just a few. But on a personal side, I actually met Brother Gant when he was 15 years old. And at that time, Brother Gant was a student at the high school in which I was a school administrator. So I watched Brother Gant from his sophomore year in high school through his senior year in high school blossom into an excellent young man, and then forward in his education on the college level. But then also was modest in his service. Even while a college student and then after returning from part duty with the FBI, Brother Gant returned to his alma mater, Jennings High School, and served as his assistant ladies basketball coach, and was very instrumental in our girls basketball team reaching the final in 2008. So without further ado, I welcome, as your master of ceremonies, Brother Brian N. Gant.
Thank you, Brother Ferrer, for those kind words, brother. I really appreciate that. The check is in the mail, so you'll be getting it soon. Welcome again, everyone, to our Epsilon Lambda Virtual Founders Day program. Again, I am Brian Gant, and on this day, December 3rd, 1919, was effectively our Charter Day. As mentioned, I will be your master of ceremonies tonight and subsequently guiding you and introducing you to some of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated's most illustrious leaders, programs, and visionaries. Before we get started, I just have some quick house rules, okay? As an attendee, if you could please turn off your video on Zoom, it will help our IT team tremendously, okay? That was the first one. Second one, again, with muting your audio, we will try to police that from here, but please be mindful of your surroundings. Now that that's done, the Brothers of Epsilon Lambda made sure to have a wealth of information for you all tonight, okay? And I have made sure for you, the attendees, to keep those long-winded, pontificating brothers at the beginning of the program. You're welcome, okay? Without further ado, I'd like to introduce one of the most intelligent brothers I've ever met in my life, a true servant of Epsilon Lambda, our chapter historian, Brother Dr. Miller W. Boyd III.
Thank you very much, Brother Gant. Good evening, brothers and guests. 101 years ago, 11 active and engaged community-minded men came together to establish the 5th alumni chapter of the oldest African-American fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. Included in this number was the head of the St. Louis and East St. Louis Urban League, George Walker Buckner, attorney and Beta Charter member, Daniel Webster Bowles, head of the Pine Street YMCA and future president of Bennett College, David Dallas Jones, physician, John Thomas Anderson, veterinarian and Kappa Chapter Charter member, Frederick Douglass Halsey, educator and economist, Lucian Symington Curtis, pharmacist, Lucian Ellsworth Sims, dentist, Harvey Douglas Shaw, physician, Newman Marion Sykes, dentist, Frank Straker Thurman, and educator, Robert Pleasant Watts. From the beginning, Epsilon Lambda stood out as a beacon of light in the pantheon of exceptional Alpha chapters across America. Key to its success was a robust membership of men who distinguished themselves locally and nationally. Aside from the aforementioned charter members, other business and community leaders affiliated with Epsilon Lambda. While the list of noted members of Epsilon Lambda's early years is extensive, several names stand out. Jules Henry Arthur Callis, businessman Aaron Malone, attorney Silas E. Gardner, and longtime General Secretary of the fraternity, Joseph H.B. Evans, all played a large part in the chapter's development in the early 20th century. Shortly after its founding, Epsilon Lambda increased its profile by hosting several conventions. 2 years into its existence, St. Louis was chosen over New York and Detroit to host the 15th General Convention in 1922. It would be noted as the largest convention in Alpha's history to that point. In 1933, St. Louis hosted its second convention, and because of the chapter's hard work organizing a successful gathering during the Great Depression, Epsilon Lambda walked away from the 24th General Convention with the McGee Cup, now called the Alumni Chapter of the Year Award. Aside from its heavy involvement in fraternal affairs in the first decades of its existence, Epsilon Lambda focused much of their efforts on civic engagement and racial uplift. The chapter supported efforts of organizations like the Urban League and the NAACP, both of which were headed by Epsilon Lambda men locally at different times. The chapter also engaged in more direct action. For example, beginning in 1931, Epsilon Lambda established a committee to investigate the conditions of Black children at the St. Louis City Sanatorium. Members of Epsilon Lambda were also at the heart of some of the most important civil rights cases of the first half of the 20th century. Of note was the Lloyd Gaines case. Gaines was a member of Epsilon Lambda and was rejected from the University of Missouri School of Law in 1935 on account of his race. With the help of Epsilon Lambda brothers Sidney Redmond and fellow Alphas Charles Hamilton Houston and Thurgood Marshall, the Gaines case was successfully tried in the Supreme Court in 1938, forcing the state of Missouri to establish the Lincoln University School of Law to serve Black students. Going into the 1950s and 60s, Epsilon Lambda remained a force within the fraternity. Epsilon Lambda brothers remained very active in the community and continued the type of social advocacy seen in prior years. Members of the chapter fought to desegregate public facilities, supported citywide educational efforts, and helped to combat medical disparities in the Black community. While the individual actions of the chapter during the 1960s were laudatory, Epsilon Lambda is perhaps most remembered during this decade for organizing and co-hosting the 60th anniversary convention. From August 15th through 18th, 1966, brothers from around the world descended upon St. Louis for what was once again called the largest gathering of Alphas to that point. Also beginning in the late 1960s, Epsilon Lambda contributed to one of the most ambitious projects in the history of the fraternity. Under the direction of the chairman of the National Alpha Phi Alpha Building Foundation, Epsilon Lambda brother William Alexander, and chairman of the board of Alpha Housing Incorporated, also another brother of Epsilon Lambda, brother Morris Hatchett, Epsilon Lambda led an effort to build several multi-family housing units on the city's west side. Built in conjunction with the foundation and the Federal Housing Administration, these developments were built to address affordable housing shortages for African Americans in St. Louis City and provide facilities for elderly and disabled tenants. Going into the 1970s, Epsilon Lambda continued its robust programming and active involvement of the St. Louis community. In many ways, however, the chapter's notoriety sprang from its unparalleled commitment to the Life Membership Program. Under the enthusiastic leadership of National Life Member Chairman and Epsilon Lambda brother John D. Buckner, the program grew by leaps and bounds. Epsilon Lambda also played a large part in Brother Buckner's success in that by the early 1970s, the chapter contained more life members than any other Alpha chapter in the world. Legendary Epsilon Lambda brother Joe Gunnell remarked, quote, "'Tis said in Epsilon Lambda, quote, you must be a life member before you can enter Omega chapter." Sorry, we've got somebody helping me along with this. The 1980s and 1990s saw Epsilon Lambda build upon the past and initiate programming that changed the cultural and economic landscape of Black St. Louis. One of the more important contributions to racial uplift was ELAM's Anti-Apartheid Committee, which led several boycotts of the Shell gas stations over their parent company's continued support of the white South African regime. The chapter's work in the community led the fraternity to name Epsilon Lambda the Alumni Chapter of the Year in 1987. The editor of the Sphinx exclaimed, quote, "If assisting humanity means improving African American society, using scholarship, leadership, and service as weapons, the Brothers of Epsilon Lambda chapter in St. Louis are certainly warriors for the aims of the fraternity." Going into the 21st century, Epsilon Lambda continued to provide transformative leadership for the African American community. The acquisition of the current fraternity house in Hyde Park, partnerships with the March of Dimes, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the creation of both the Epsilon Lambda Foundation and the Alpha Mentoring Program, the introduction of new annual events like the Soulful Trivia Night and Arch Derby, and of course, its Centennial Gala, helped out Epsilon Lambda retain its position as one of the preeminent chapters of Alpha Phi Alpha. Epsilon Lambda's first 100 years were a testament to the human spirit, the unselfish heart, and the greatness that resides in the African American community. Going forward, we are reminded of whence we came, but also whence we must go. The continued scourges of racism, police brutality, poverty, and marginalization make it impossible for the brothers of Epsilon Lambda to sit on the sidelines. The clarion call has gone out in our communities for help, and Epsilon Lambda will most assuredly answer the call to alleviate suffering and inspire the masses. The next 101 years will be bright for Epsilon Lambda, and we promise to illuminate the path for those continuing to meander in darkness. Epsilon Lambda has forged a strong foundation, and as such, it will continue to be the vanguard of St. Louis for years to come. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Brother Boyd, and thank you again to your helper as well. I think we want to continue hearing from your helper and not you, Brother Boyd. What do you think?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay. Thank you again for taking us down the road that started in 1919 and covering our history so well. With that in mind, let us continue down this path and let's discuss the work of Epsilon Lambda. After all, the motto of our dear fraternity is first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. Illustrating this for us will be our chapter associate editor to the Sphinx, Brother Aaron H. Willis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Willis, and I am the associate editor of the Sphinx for the Epsilon Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. What you're about to see is a presentation of the work that Epsilon Lambda has done in the past year. Included in this presentation, you will see the chapter on the front line in the midst of the current pandemic, while serving the St. Louis area through various food drives and fundraisers for COVID relief. You will also see our Afro mentoring program, along with other social action. So without further ado, we present to you Epsilon Lambda. The service continues.
Gotta get some momentum.
All right.
If you have not done so already, make sure that you follow us on YouTube at ELAM1919 Media. That's ELAM1919 Media. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to stay updated on other presentations that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Willis, again for documenting just how much Epsilon Lambda cares about the community. That was an awesome job, brother. I only seen myself in that video one time, brother, so we'll talk about that later. I hope you all enjoying the program thus far. If you're following along with me, we have reached the entertainment section of our occasion. So we have a special treat for you tonight, Epsilon Lambda style, by way of Brother Marvin Cockrell. Brother Marvin F. Cockrell is a St. Louis acclaimed smooth jazz pianist, composer, and leader of the band, Focus. Whether performing as a solo artist for private events or corporate organizations, Marvin has entertained audiences from the St. Louis area and throughout the United States for several years. In the city of St. Louis, Marvin's playing is a fixture in the church community. Marvin and his band Focus have been headliners for Fermata Entertainment annual smooth jazz concert for the past 16 years, in addition to his playing. Marvin has showcased his compositional prowess on each of the 4 CDs he has: Stepping Stones, Heat, I'm Cool, and Red Hot Smooth Jazz. Marvin's website is marvinfcockrellstl.com. And without further ado, Brother Marvin F. Cockrell.
Thank you, Brother Gant. Good evening To National President, Brother Dr. Everett B. Ward, our President, Dwight Pollard, and my fellow brothers of Epsilon Lambda of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. Thank you for this opportunity to provide the entertainment for Founders Day this year. I'd like to welcome everyone to our event and with a special shout out to my Eta Eta brothers. At this time, I'd like to start with a selection that I wrote called Friends. I'd like to change it up a little bit. for those people who may like a little blues in their life, and gonna do a little bit of blues for you. right, a little blues for those people who love blues. And hope you enjoyed that. Hey, hey, the blues is all right. Okay, I'm going to go back to a tune that I original called Smooth and just kick back and enjoy it. Smooth. All right, a little of smooth. Like to dedicate this next song, Isn't She Lovely? Famous song by Mr. Stevie Wonder, to all the lovely women, mothers, daughters, everyone out there that's enjoying this stream. Isn't she lovely? All right, I'd like to wrap it up with my last selection, a little bit of Marvin Gaye. What's going on? You know, the Brotherhood has been around for 101 years and will be around for another 101 years. God's blessing, and I want to do a little bit of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, Marvin F. Cockrell, and Focus's version.
Thank you, Brother Cockrell. That was absolutely amazing. My brothers never cease to amaze me. Definitely absolutely amazing. I need everyone to go to marvincockrellstl.com. Go right now. Christmas presents, New Year, early Valentine's Day gifts, marvincockrellstl.com. As you can see, the brother is very, very talented. So thank you again. Next up, to present a very special item, our Brotherhood Toast is Brother Quentin Williams, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Missouri District Director. Brother Williams.
I bring greetings from the brothers of the mighty momentous Missouri District, where we are ready for reclamation, ready for execution, ready for accountability, development, and lastly, we are ready for you, my brothers. I'd like to propose a toast. Here's to 101 years of service and goodwill. Hear, hear, I say, to the great man of Alpha that paved the way for all of us to be here today. Here's to the brothers willing to do things today others won't do, in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. Here's to the brothers that help others achieve their dreams. Here's to the brothers and their families that in the fell clutch of circumstance have not winced nor cried aloud. Here's to the brothers during these unparalleled times that are fighting to live their dreams and conquer their fears. Hear, hear to the brothers that move in silence, that work with confidence and determination and persistence. Here's to the brothers that measure their efforts by results. You talk with purpose, you work with purpose, you execute with purpose. Everyone wants to be an alpha until they realize what a real alpha does. Hear, hear to the light within each and every one of you that can never be diminished nor extinguished. Here's to the brotherhood. Happy Charter Day, Epsilon Lambda.
Hear, hear.
Excellent job, Brother Williams. Thank you for that excellent toast. Well, we've now gotten to the portion of the program, the main event. Introducing our keynote speaker for tonight, for this evening, will be Epsilon Lambda Chapter past President, Brother Brian H. Hyde. And if you'll allow me a few minutes, I want to give a brief bio of Brother Hyde. Originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia, Brother Brian H. Hyde was initiated into Alpha in the fall of 1989, Gamma Psi Chapter at St. Augustine's University in Raleigh, North Carolina. Brother Hyde served as president of Epsilon Lambda and chairman of the Epsilon Lambda Charitable Foundation from 2014 to 2017. He received the 2015 Man of the Year Award, the 2016 William M. Alexander Award, and the 2017 Daniel W. Bowes Award. He has served in several roles with the general organization, currently serving on the fraternity's Grievances and Discipline Committee. And just as a side note, there is only one brother who can wear an ascot better than me, and that would be Brother Hyde. Brother Hyde?
Thank you, Brother Gant, for your gracious introduction and those words. I truly appreciate that. Brother District Director Williams, thank you for an outstanding felicitation on behalf of the mighty, momentous Missouri District. And to you, Brother Dr. Boyd and your daughter, once again, as always, brother, classic. I am joined by my daughters, Gabrielle and Olivia, who have come to know Alpha from me, yes, and by watching the brothers of the epic Epsilon Lambda chapter in servant leadership, evidenced by the wonderful video shown this evening. Brothers and friends, again, greetings to you all. I am deeply humbled, yet grateful and proud for this evening's opportunity to introduce our 35th General President, Brother Dr. Everett B. Ward. He has been both a role model and mentor to me in life and in Alphadom. Throughout Dr. Ward's active years of service to Alpha, he has been committed to continuously advancing this organization onward and upward toward the light. doing so in the alpha spirit of what Brother Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called in 1967, while in New York, speaking at Riverside Church, the fierce urgency of now. In addition to serving as our 35th General President, Dr. Ward served as the 11th President of our beloved alma mater, St. Augustine's University, HBCU and Falcon Proud. In addition to his recognized work in higher education as a change agent, he is a former 20-year member of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, where he served as the vice chairman of the DNC Black Caucus. In 1989, he made history by becoming the first African-American to serve as executive director of the North Carolina Democratic Party. Brothers and friends, I can't tell you how proud all of us were of him at that time, and as we remain so to this very day. There is no wonder that Dr. Ward is the recipient of the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest and most prestigious award bestowed to a North Carolina citizen. Dr. Ward truly exemplifies, there goes an alpha man. He is our motto, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. Brothers, without further ado, from the general headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, and what will be one of his last historic appearances during his term, please rise to stand with me in Alpha Protocol and welcome to the mighty, momentous Missouri District, our General President, Brother Dr. Everett B. Ward.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brothers. Thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be with you tonight. And Brother Hyde, I want to thank you for that generous introduction. And please give my best to your beautiful and brilliant daughters and let them know that we are thinking of them and your wife as well. And it's always good to see you and to be with my fellow St. Augustine's Falcon. Falcon pride always. So it's good to see you. First of all, let me say to Brother Pollard, the president of Epsilon Lambda, and to Brother Ferry, the vice president, it's an honor to be with Epsilon Lambda. And I'm always so pleased to be with the vice president of the Midwestern region, Brother Ronald Stovall, who's doing an exceptional job representing you and our entire fraternity on the board of directors. And brothers, I know we all are excited and looking for great leadership from a proven leader in Alpha, who on January the 1st will take the helm of the general presidency of our great fraternity. Please join me, brothers, in giving Brother Willis, Brother Dr. Willis Lonzer III, a round of applause as he prepares in just a few days to become the 36th general president of our beloved Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Brother Lonzer, it's good to see you, my brother. Always glad to be with you. And we are so looking forward to serving under your leadership as our 36th general president. Thank you, my brothers. Brothers, it is an honor to be with you. As Brother Hyde has indicated, I am coming to you from our corporate headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, on the eve of the founding of our great fraternity. And I cannot tell you what it means to be here to talk with you as we begin to commemorate, starting at midnight at 12:01, the 114th anniversary founding of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, the greatest fraternity in the world. And I know all of you will join me in that acknowledgement. But I also want to say a special hello to our guests who are with us tonight, who are joining us in this celebration. Our members of the Divine Nine, I know they were recognized earlier, but brothers, I want us to take a moment to recognize our other members of the Divine Nine who are with us tonight as we begin celebrating the founding of our great fraternity. So all of our Divine Nine brothers and sisters, we're glad you are here with us, having served as chairman of the Council of Presidents, which includes all of the Divine Nine national presidents and international presidents, we have had a wonderful working relationship, and I'm going to speak to that even further. But working on your theme that you have for tonight, paving the way through leadership and service through turbulent times, is so apropos to what we have just experienced in 2020. You know, we have experienced as a nation and indeed a global society 2 pandemics in this nation and around the world. Of course, dealing with the coronavirus in all parts of the world, and especially here in the United States. But then also here in the United States, we dealt with what we call a second pandemic, and that is one that we as alpha men have been fighting against for 114 years, and that is racism, discrimination, and injustice. And we saw that it intensified in 2020, but I am so pleased to say to you, my brothers, that on each of those fronts, the men of Alpha Phi Alpha rose to the occasion, and as it is appropriate for the topic that you have, that we in turbulent times provide leadership and service. So brothers, I just want to talk with you for just a moment. And I think it's important, especially as we celebrate the 101st founding celebration of Epsilon Lambda. You know, I think we must remember those 11 distinguished men who chartered the chapter there in St. Louis, because it was in 1919 that there was something referred to as the Red Summer of 1919, when African Americans, it was called Bloody Sunday, Bloody Summer, Red Summer, because of the violence that was inflicted upon our people. But here 11 men said that we are going to hold high the name of this great fraternity and follow in the tradition of our jewels that founded this great fraternity on December the 4th, 1906, and that we shall continue to hold firm to the mission of our great fraternity. Well, my brothers, this is what we've got to do now. We are continuing to face injustice and discrimination, but as your general president, I am so pleased to report to you that as we celebrate the founding of our fraternity, that it was alpha men all over this country and all over the world who stood up. And I want to commend you, the brothers of Epsilon Lambda, for the work that you did around voter registration, voter engagement, and voter mobilization. And as people face financial challenges and continue to be confronted with unemployment and needing to find food and health and shelter for their families, the multiple food and clothing drives that was held by this chapter in St. Louis in collaboration with the National Urban League was something that I was so pleased to learn about, especially from Brother Hyde and your work with Lift for Life Academy. And then to know that next month you're going to be working with Brother Reverend Derek Perkins and the Centennial Christian Church around efforts in neighborhoods to work with young people and to be a part of Martin Luther King activities as well. So brothers, I want to commend you on the work that you are doing. And what I'd like for us to think about, I was always reread our history book, but there was something that I read that I want to share with you that was in 1908 was written, and it was a statement that was given at the convention of 1908 by George Lyle, a member of Beta chapter. This is what Brother Lyle said: the influence of Alpha Phi Alpha would reach every Negro college and university in the land to bring together under one band and with one bond of fraternal love all the worthy leading college men wherever found, to form as it were a link to bind them together. From the very inception, we were the leading college and university men that were committed to be together as brothers to make society better. And I believe that, brothers, it's noteworthy for us to call the names of the jewels tonight as we prepare to embark on our founding. We've got to call the name of Jewel Henry Arthur Callis, Charles Henry Chapman, George Biddle Kelly, Robert Harold Ogle, Nathaniel Allison Murray, and Vertner Woodson Tandy. We've got to call their names and remember the legacy that we, as the heirs of this great fraternity, now have the privilege to hold high the name of that fraternity. But then I want to share with you something that was said in 1909 at this convention by another Beta chapter brother, and he predicted the future of our fraternity in his statement. And these are the words of Brother Adams in 1909, and he said, Alpha Phi Alpha can work wonders in this country. I can see it now. And here we are, 114 years, and he predicted in 1908 that Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity would work wonders in this country. And yes, we are working wonders. We have a lot to be proud of as a fraternity. Just today, I was so pleased to receive word that 3 of our brothers who serve in Congress are now chairman of standing committees. We have, for the first of all, Brother Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York was just elected today as the first African-American to serve as chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Give him a round of applause. An African-American man serving as chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Oh, that's a wonderful thing, a wonderful thing. And Brother David Scott of Georgia just got elected chairman of the Agricultural House Committee. Give him a round of applause. Leadership in the House of Alpha. And yes, we all know of the work of Brother Congressman Bobby Scott from Virginia, who I talked with this morning and late last night as he was preparing. He shall be chairman again of the House Education and Labor Committee. Brothers, the influence that Alpha men will have in the House of Representatives is all because we decide a voteless people is a hopeless people. And it were men of Alpha like you and brothers all around this nation that mobilized in this election. And yes, our Alpha brothers are in leadership. And oh, we're so excited, and we're working diligently with our brothers in the Georgia district to make certain that our brother Raphael Warnock becomes the United States Senator from the state of Georgia. And we're asking all of us to make sure that we do what we can to help him get elected. Now, for some brothers who will say, of course, Alpha is nonpartisan. And yes, I'm nonpartisan, but I'm partisan in this way. And let the record show that if it's an Alpha running, I'm voting for the Alpha every time. So he is my brother, and he's gonna always be my brother. And I'm gonna give him everything I can to see him in the United States Senate, because the history books will tell you that the 3 African-American men in the 20th century who have served in the United States, we can make the 3rd one. The first was our brother Edward Brooke from the great state of Massachusetts. And then the 2nd from the Midwestern region was my great mentor, Roland Burris, who served in the US Senate as well. And then won't it be great that we can see a Southerner, a man of Alpha Psi, to be the 3rd Alpha to serve in the United States Senate. I don't know about you, but I'm partisan Alpha all the way. So we are very pleased about the possibility. And brothers, we're doing a clarion call to do everything we can to implement a voteless people is a hopeless people in the state of Georgia between now and January the 5th. And then I just want to share a few other things with you that speak to the quality of our Alpha men that really gives the forecast of what Brother Adams. Weren't we all proud when Brother Bret Hart was named president of United Airlines. There goes an alpha man. And our brother Jericho Brown, professor of Emory University, won this year the Pulitzer Prize in poetry, an alpha man. There goes an alpha man. So brothers, we have a great deal to celebrate, but what I want us to do is not become so intoxicated and consumed with our very celebrated history that we do not continue the legacy of the jewels and confront and have a strategy for the issues that we face today. Yes, these are turbulent times, but alpha men were founded. We were founded in turbulent times. Remember, 1906 was shortly after Reconstruction. The disenfranchisement of Black people were the order of the day. Lynching Black people was the order of the day. And so we said that in spite of your stereotype, in spite of your racism, in spite of your trying to keep us in second-class citizenship, we, the men of Alpha Phi Alpha, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. We shall be the ones that will find a fraternity that will get the best of the college men, the leading college men together, not for self-grandizement, but for the betterment of our people and the upward mobility of generations yet to come. So brothers, I want to ask us to do a couple of things as we celebrate Founders Day. One, we got to stay engaged like we've never been engaged before. Now is the time that we've gotten individuals elected, but now we've got to work on public policy. We've got to hold people accountable because there are health disparity issues that we need to deal with. Now is the time that we've got to deal with criminal justice reform. Now is the time that we got to deal with educational achievement gaps. Now is the time that we've got to deal with COVID and the coronavirus and how it's disproportionately impacting our community, the African-American community and other communities of color. And yes, we've got to continue to deal with issues around voter suppression. Let us not fool ourselves to think that just because someone was defeated in November, that they are not going to come back and that the racism and the white supremacy that emerged in this nation will not go away if we don't stand up and fight against it. So brothers, I'm asking us to stay vigilant and stay focused. That's why your theme for tonight is so appropriate. And yes, I think we've got to continue, as we've shown here in this past election cycle, that all of the Divine Nine must work together. It was no accident that the Vice President-elect of these United States of America, is a graduate of Howard University and a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We all celebrate in her achievement and what she represents. When she gave her acceptance speech, when the Vice President-elect gave her acceptance speech, it didn't matter if you were a Howard University graduate or not. It didn't matter if you were an AKA or not. What mattered was all of us who are graduates and supporters of historically Black colleges could stand with pride and celebrate the fact that one of our own is going to be Vice President of the United States of America. Intelligentsia will move into the Vice President's residency in Washington, D.C. And yes, a member of the Divine Nine is going to be there as well. And I don't know about you, but I like all the colors of the Divine Nine, because at the end of the day, there's only one color that matters, and that's the color of Black. And that's what we got to be concerned about. It doesn't matter if your color is purple or gold, crimson or cream, blue or white, or brown and gold, pink and green, red and white, blue and white. It doesn't matter if it's gold and blue. The only color at the end of the day is the color of our skin, and making sure that our communities are protected at all costs. So brothers, I'm asking you to dedicate yourself even more. If we are truly committed to honoring the jewels, honor them by doing what you've been doing for 101 years. Stand against injustice. Fight when others find comfort in their recliners. Go and do all that you can do to make life better. And then finally, internally, we got to hold firm to our mission statement. We got to promote brotherhood and academic excellence. We've got to be servants in our community. We've got to be advocates. And that's why this administration has focused so hard on advocacy. But finally, I want to say this to you, brothers. As your general president, one of the things that I've had to do during my tenure is to preside over several Omega services. Some brothers you did not know, but then there were others that had national and international notoriety, both in the House of Alpha and outside of the House of Alpha. And I want to just remember them tonight. We want to remember Brother James R. Williams, the 25th General President of our fraternity, a legal scholar, a judge, a city councilman, someone who was a trailblazer at the University of Akron, having graduated from the law school there. And yes, we want to remember, as we did on this past Monday night, the life and legacy of Brother David Dinkins, who was the first African-American mayor of the state of New York. And then, of course, Brother Dr. C.T. Vivian, civil rights leader, humanitarian, advocate for our people, who stood in the door against discrimination and said, "Here I stand like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved." And then also Brother Joseph Lowry, who is the president of SCLC, a lieutenant of Brother Thurgood Marsh, someone who gave his life and service to the betterment of our people. And now we can see their work must continue. But as I reviewed and read about them and looked at their individual contributions and their collective contributions, there were some things that were crystal clear that I want to close and share with you with as a charge to all of us. What they had collectively together and what they represented individually. But I want to talk about their collective strength as alpha men, the common characteristics that were represented in their lives. They mentored countless young people. They mentored and opened the door for countless young people. They advocated against injustice, even in the face of extreme and possible personal violence. They stood against injustice. They never compromised their integrity. And they consistently stood against all forms of discrimination. They did this until God took their last breath from them. And so, my brothers, the charge before us on this 114th anniversary, in turbulent times, leadership and service reminds us that we must emulate what these great brothers have shown us through their life and their legacy. They rest now in Omega chapter of sweet rest. But now for those of us, the living alphas, this is what we've got to do, brothers. And I ask you, the brothers of Epsilon Lambda and brothers worldwide, to do this. Mentor young people. Advocate against injustice. Never compromise your integrity. And consistently stand against discrimination and white supremacy, no matter where it raises its ugly head. Because we are the men of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. And we all know that in Alpha, there's only one way, onward and upward always. And so I say to you, my brothers, celebrate tonight. Remember our jewels, but more importantly, let us be the living alphas so that when the history book is written for 2020 and beyond, they can say that the men of Epsilon Lambda, the men of Alpha throughout all of Alphadom, stood and are standing strong, and that we shall always be, first of all, servants of all, and we shall transcend all. God bless you, and I wish each of you a very happy anniversary. God bless this fraternity, and I have enjoyed being with you. I apologize, Mr. President, that I'm going to have to leave. They've got press conferences, and tomorrow morning, brothers, turn on Ricky Smiley. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, your general president will be on there with our Omega friend to talk about the greatest fraternity in the world, and that is Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity on our founding. So, brothers, I've got to leave, Mr. President, to go and prepare, and a couple more sessions I've got tonight. But thank you for the invitation. God bless each and every one of you, and hold high the great name of our fraternity. So thank you, my brother, and have a wonderful celebration.
Thank you again, Brother General President. Well, you heard it here first. Tomorrow morning, the Ricky Smiley Show. Inspiring words from our Brother General President. I think everyone can pull something remarkable from that message that he just stated. So as you have seen, here in Epsilon Lambda, we are about the work. We are also about providing recognition for those brothers who go above and beyond. Presenting our Brotherhood Awards is Brother James A. McNary Sr., a past chapter president, Area 1 director, chapter awards chairman currently, and former district director. Mac, as we so often call him, was very intimately involved with my process as well, so he holds a special place in my heart. Without further ado, Brother James McNary Sr.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by saying good evening to Brother General President Ward, Brother General President-elect Lonzer, Brother Midwestern Regional Vice President Stovall, brothers assembled here, and guests. It is indeed an honor to present to you the Epsilon Lambda 2020 awardees. To start with, I'd like to announce the membership awardees. That comes this year in two categories. I'm going to call out the names of the 25-year members and then the names of the 50-year members. Some of them are present with us tonight. I'll start with Brother Miller W. Boyd III. He's received his 25-year shingle this year. Brother Quentin Chambers has received his 25-year. Brother George L. May has received 25 years. Brother Dwight L. Pollitt, our current chapter president, reached 25 years this year. And last but not least, Brother Charles E. Spearman has obtained 25 years this year. Now for our 50-year members, we'll start with Brother Claude Randalls Jr., Brother Wardell Sullivan, Brother Hollis W. Taylor, Brother Barry L. Taylor, and Brother James M. Williams, AKA the plumber. Those brothers have received 50 years. Okay, at this point, I'd like to do the chapter awards. And we're going to start with the William Alexander Award. And the criteria for this award is that a member must be an alpha for at least 10 years. He must be active in the national organization for at least 7 consecutive years. He must be a member in good standing and have been active in Epsilon Lambda chapter for at least 7 years prior to being considered. He must be an established leader and obtain a positive position of leadership and have a significant and sizable contribution to his profession or his area of employment or his special area of interest. I'd like to present to you tonight the 2020 William M. Alexander Award winner, Brother Quentin Chambers. Brother Chambers.
Good evening, guests. Thank everybody. And yes, I did receive my award. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Nope, can't really see it. But I'd like to thank all of you guys for, nominating me for this. I tell you guys, obviously, I'm one of the 25-year, just getting rid of the wetness behind the ear in Alpha. So I'm very proud, And I can tell you, when I came to St. Louis in 2014, I had nothing more than the thirst to be able to help to the community at large. And I'm so thankful that all of the brothers wrapped their arms around me, gave me the support, encouraged me to march on and be, first of all, servants. So we did that. We continue to do that. And I am more than happy. I am more than excited to see more things that Epsilon Lambda chapter, as well as the foundation, will accomplish for the community at large and for the greater St. Louis area. So guys, thank you again for allowing me to be part of this whole experience. It brings me joy to do nothing more than help the community. So thank all of you guys.
Okay, thank you, Brother Chambers. Our next award will be the Daniel W. Bowles Award. The criteria for this award reads as follows. Having been a member of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity for at least 25 years and 10 years within Epsilon Lambda, made contributions to the fraternity and the community, made contributions to the growth in his chosen profession, and have participated in conventions of the fraternity, regional and national. Our awardee for this year is none other than Brother Michael L. Ferrer. Brother Ferrer.
Thank you, brothers. I'd like to thank the award committee. I'd like to thank the brothers who nominated me for this award. And I would like to congratulate all those nominated for all awards. Brothers, we must continue to do the work. This is my 44th year as a member of this organization. And I am very pleased and honored without means of receiving this award today. It's a total shock to me, but I am very grateful. Brothers, we will continue to strive on, and I guess we couldn't beat Brother Hyde in getting 3 consecutive years of awards, but we now have some brothers who have joined that Triple Crown level, as Brother McNary says, and I am without words. Please to join that club as well. Thank you very much, brothers.
Okay, welcome to the Triple Crowners, Brother Ferrer. Okay, our final award is I call this the crown jewel of the awards. This is our Alpha Man of the Year award. And its criteria is as follows. I'm going to take my glasses off to see this one. Okay. It says that the recipient should have not received the award previously. He must have been financially active with Epsilon Lambda chapter in good standing and was in good standing in the previous year. He shall have attended at least 3/4 of the regular scheduled meetings of Epsilon Lambda. If he's an officer, he should have performed some service to the chapter in some capacity other than an officer. Okay. He shall have chaired at least one committee and shall have served as an active participant on at least one other. The brother's contribution to the fraternity should be that it enhances the programs of the fraternity. There should be some positive contribution to the community which extends to enhance the lives of others. There should be active participation on the part of the brother in conventions, regional and/or national of the fraternity. This description describes this brother to a T. The awardee for the Man of the Year for 2020 is Brother Henry L. Woods, Jr. Brother Woods.
Good evening, brothers, guests, friends, families. I am very honored to receive this award. I'm very happy to be nominated. It's been a real pressing and stressful year. So to get this award at the end is very closing. It's going to help me with my strength to get through the rest of the year for my wife. I appreciate all the brothers working on the committees, my Epsilon Psi brothers, that's in Epsilon Lambda. They're always good mentors. Words of wisdom are always there, and the challenge is always there. And the expectation is always high as an alpha man, especially at Epsilon Psi. So I take this award, I don't take it lightly. I appreciate working with all the brothers on all the committees that we served on, the Soulful Trivia Night, the Centennial Committee, the food drives and everything, and all the long conversations. This is what it's all about, how we show our new brothers how Alpha is represented in the community. And I appreciate working with all the Divine Nine that we have worked with thus far, and we're looking to work with more of you, and we appreciate it. So I take this and say, I can, I will, I must, and I'm gonna keep fighting, and I appreciate and thank you for this award. Thank you, brothers.
Yeah. Okay, in closing, let's just, although everybody can't hear, let's just give all the brothers that won awards tonight a round of applause. And thank you.
Congratulations again to all of the recipients. We will now move on to have a few remarks from the next president-elect of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Brother Dr. Willis L. Lonzer III.
Can you hear me? Greetings. I presume you can hear me. Greetings, brothers and guests. It is indeed a pleasure to gather with the men of the Epsilon Lambda chapter on the eve of our 114th Founders Day. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to acknowledge our General President, Brother Dr. Everett B. Ward in absentia, our Midwestern Regional Vice President, Brother Ronald Stovall, Missouri District Director, Brother Quentin Williams, Chapter President, Brother Dwight Pollard, and Vice President, Brother Michael Ferrer. Please allow me a moment to provide a special acknowledgement, and I'm sorry that he is not here to hear these words from me, but to offer sincere gratitude to our 35th General President, Brother Dr. Ward, for his stalwart and unwavering leadership while at the helm of our dear fraternity. I'm very happy to also acknowledge the men of the Epsilon Lambda chapter as you celebrate the chartering of this historic chapter 101 years ago today. The men of this chapter know that I believe in the work that you do, and you know that I tried to be a strong partner with you while I served as your Midwestern Regional Vice President. You are an outstanding chapter, and your outstanding leadership helps keep Alpha Phi Alpha and Epsilon Lambda chapter at the forefront of leadership in the greater St. Louis community and beyond. Lastly, I want to also give special acknowledgement to Brother Brian Grant, our Founders Day Master of Ceremonies. He's doing a fine job. To all of our award recipients, and a warm hello to all brothers, friends, and guests who are virtually connected for this event. Needless to say, brothers, these are unprecedented times. Times that affirm that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And as you well know, the politically and socially polarizing climate in our nation affirms that there is great work that still lies ahead. A pandemic that continues to plague the entire planet while some continue to deny its significance. Ironically, we can overlay these two circumstances alone across the proverbial lens of reflection as we look back 100 years ago and witness the similarities that history bears out. And just as history also tells us, 100 years ago, our dear A Phi A was on the scene as brothers conducted the business of Alpha amidst crises as we are doing today, even amidst these modern crises. Our presence back then and today affirm that our calling and our mission as a brotherhood is sure. We have work to do. As we reflect on the significance of our 114th anniversary as a fraternity, the significance of our 114th anniversary as a powerful resource of intellectual capital, independent of race or creed, the significance of our 114th anniversary hallmarking the outstanding leadership in the Black community, in this nation overall and globally. Let us rekindle our spirit of dedication to the calling and mission of our dear Alpha Phi Alpha on our 114th anniversary. We stand firmly focused on our mission to develop leaders, promote academic excellence and brotherhood while providing service and advocacy for our communities. That mission will forever be affirmed by our aims, manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind, and by our motto, that we are first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. Happy 114th anniversary, brothers. Happy Charter Day, 101 years of great leadership in St. Louis. God bless you and your families, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Brother Lonzer, for your kind remarks, and we are so looking forward to you leading this illustrious fraternity. We're nearing the end of our program. I hope you've enjoyed this ride as much as I have. Let us hear from our closing remarks from our current Epsilon Lambda chapter president, Brother Dwight Pollard.
Good evening once again to everyone. What an exciting evening, a great evening of celebrating 114 years as a fraternity and 101 years as a chapter in St. Louis. Through everything we're going through right now, this pandemic, all the negative things that's going on in our society, I must say that Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity is still standing strong and serving in this community. Not just this community, but all over the world. I'm so proud to be a part of an organization and a fraternity of this caliber. At this time, I want to thank all the guests, members of the Divine Nine, Alpha Brothers who participated, and also Epsilon Lambda Brothers who served on the Founders Day Committee. Special thanks to the guests from our general organization, including Brother Dr. Everett Ward, Brother Dr. Willis Lonzer. At the regional level, Brother Ronald Stovall. At the district level, Brother Quentin Williams. And entertainment by Brother Marvin Cockrell and Focus. Brother, you did a phenomenal job this evening. I mean, I like jazz, I always have liked jazz, but you take jazz to a different level, brother. Thank you for being a part of our chapter and fraternity celebration this evening. I'm also proud of the hard work the Epsilon Lambda Brothers have and is currently doing in the St. Louis community in spite of COVID-19 crisis. As a chapter, we determined to always be the trendsetters and continue to pave the way in leadership and service in our community. As Alpha men, we will always uphold the aims of our dear fraternity, manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind, and the motto, first of all, service of all, we shall transcend all. Ladies and gentlemen, after the fraternity hymn, we will have a post-gala reception available for additional 30 minutes, where there'll be a breakout chat room for more conversation. Thank you so much. And at this time, we will now have the benediction by Brother Reverend Derek Perkins, who is the pastor of Centennial Christian Church and also a past chaplain of Epsilon Lambda chapter. Brother Perkins.
Thank you so much. Brothers, we have been informed, we've been challenged and empowered and more to go out into our communities to make a difference. And we know that it has always been an agenda of God and the many critical leaders within our great fraternity that we would serve unselfishly and freely. Today, the privileges that we've been given requires that we serve even more today. As we find ourselves serving, leading, and engaging the world around us in unprecedented times and ways. Therefore, we don't engage this work alone. We must do it with God's help. Let us pray. We thank thee, O God, for the ability to answer the call that you have given to us to serve your wider world. Our founders answered the call, and they served faithfully. Those forward-looking businessmen from St. Louis answered the call when they chartered Epsilon Lambda chapter. They answered it faithfully. It is now our time to go out into the world and to make a difference, to speak against injustices, to stand up for the least, the lost, and the left out. It's our time to go and make a difference in the world, to engage public policy, to engage those who are living on the margin, to engage injustices with everything we have. It is our time to answer the call, to serve as we know how, and as Alpha Men has modeled for us over years past. It's our charge to go out and be a great example of hope. But there are so many who hope has been hijacked by realities facing their lives, their families, and even the communities by which they live, worship, or even work. Now, God, as we try to hold up the light of Alpha and carry out the good news of our God by our ability to serve openly and freely, we ask for your strength. We ask for perseverance. We ask for guidance. We ask for patience as we work hard sometime and we don't always see the fruit of our labor. We also ask, oh God, that you would bless this great fraternity and the leaders who are charging us and partnering with us to do the work. We're asking, oh God, a special blessing on our guests who are here today. We not only want you to bless them, but we want you to bless their extended families as well. COVID-19 has no victory over our communities. We're going to serve through it, and we're going to serve with it. Be with us as we continue to do the work of Alpha, ultimately to do the work that you have called us to do. We will be forever grateful to give you thanks, to give you praise, and to give you honor. We ask your blessings on us now as we go, whatever direction we go on tomorrow, whatever the task is before us, we know we don't walk alone. You're going to be with us. We ask now that you hear our prayer. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and thank God.
Amen. Amen.
we cherish thy precepts, thy banner shall be raised. To thy glory, thy honor and renown. O Lord, may the true spirit of fraternity rule our hearts, guide our thoughts, and control our lives, so that we may become through thee servants of all. Amen.
Thank you all for allowing me to MC tonight's activities. Happy Charter Day, Epsilon Lambda. Good evening.